A cry from the void. In the quiet depths of the night shift at the Hawking Deep Space Monitoring Station, Dr. Elena Petrovic sipped her coffee and stared blearily at the endless stream of data flickering across her screen. Most nights, the work was routine, the information unremarkable. But tonight, something was different. A rhythmic pulse of signal caught Elena's eye. She sat up straighter, suddenly awake and alert. The pattern repeated, standing out sharp and clear against the background noise of space. This was no natural phenomenon. With a trembling hand, Elena activated the station's emergency alert. "Director Singh, you're needed in operations, right now. I think I've found something." Within minutes, the station transformed into a hive of activity. Director Arjun Singh watched the signal's playback, his brow furrowed. The repeating pattern was unmistakable. Prime numbers, mathematical constants, a message encoded in the universal language of science. "It's intelligent," he breathed. "Dr. Petrovic, initiate first contact protocols. We need every analyst and linguist on this, immediately." As the hours passed, the team worked feverishly to decipher the message concealed within the alien signal. Excitement turned to concern, and then to grim determination as the truth became clear. "It's a distress call," Elena said, her voice shaking slightly. "There's a fleet of alien ships stranded at the outer reaches of our solar system. They're asking for our help." Director Singh frowned at the decoded message. "But why us? If they can cross interstellar space, surely they can repair their own ships." The answer lay in the details of the transmission. The aliens, calling themselves the Zephyrin, had been observing humanity from afar. They spoke of human resilience, ingenuity, and adaptability with something approaching awe. "Our technology may surpass your own," the message read, "but in our advancement, we have lost the skills your species excels in: improvisation, creative problem-solving, determination in the face of adversity. Our rigid systems are failing. We need human innovation." An emergency council convened, linking world leaders across the globe. Debate raged. Was this a trap, a trick to lure humanity into the open? Or was it a genuine plea, a chance for humanity to prove itself on a galactic stage? In the end, one argument prevailed. If the Zephyrin truly needed help, then humanity had a moral obligation to provide it. And if this was a first contact scenario, then let it be one that showcased the best of the human spirit: compassion, generosity, and a willingness to extend a helping hand, even across the vast expanses of space. The decision was made. Humanity would answer the call. The only question remaining: who would crew such a vital mission? In the operations center of the Hawking Station, Elena Petrovic gazed up at the stars, a glimmer of excitement and trepidation in her eyes. The universe had just become a whole lot bigger, and humanity was about to take its first steps into a much larger world. Assembling the Odyssey crew, the Prometheus, Earth's most advanced spacecraft, sat gleaming on the launch pad. She was the pride of the Global Space Agency, a testament to human ingenuity and cooperation. But she wasn't supposed to fly for another 6 months. Now, with an alien fleet in distress, her maiden voyage would come early, ready or not. Captain Talia Ramos strode through the bustling hangar, her dark eyes sharp and focused. As the newly appointed mission commander, the weight of responsibility settled heavily on her shoulders. She had never expected her first command to be a mission of this magnitude. Around her, the Prometheus was a hive of activity. Engineers and technicians swarmed over the sleek vessel, making final preparations. But Talia's attention was on the people, not the ship. She was here to assemble her crew. In a conference room overlooking the hangar, a diverse group of individuals had gathered. They were the best of the best, experts in their fields, but that wasn't what had earned them a place on this mission. Each of them had been chosen for a specific quality: the ability to think outside the box, to adapt and improvise in the face of the unknown. There was Dr. Max O'Cabe, a brilliant engineer with a reputation for unorthodox solutions. He once repaired a malfunctioning Mars rover using parts from a broken microwave. Next to him sat Dr. Lena Sorensen, a xenobiologist who had pioneered new techniques for studying extraterrestrial life. She had an uncanny ability to understand and communicate with alien species. Rounding out the crew were specialists in fields ranging from astrophysics to psychology, each handpicked for their unique skills and perspective. But perhaps the most unusual addition was Street Kai Takahashi, a soldier with a background in improvised explosive devices. When things break in space, he liked to say, "You can't always wait for a spare part." Talia faced her crew, seeing in their eyes a mix of excitement, apprehension, and determination. "You all know the mission," she said, her voice clear and steady. "We're answering a call for help from an alien civilization. We have no idea what we're flying into, what challenges we'll face. But what we do know is this: they came to us because they believe in human ingenuity. They believe in our ability to solve problems, to find solutions where others see only obstacles. That's what this crew represents. That's why each of you is here." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We have a lot of work ahead of us. The Prometheus ship's out in 72 hours. Let's make sure we're ready." As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Talia stood at the window, watching the Prometheus gleam in the sunlight. She thought of the Zephyrin, waiting out there in the darkness of space, their fate hinging on the skills and determination of this human crew. "We're coming," she whispered to the stars. "Hold on." In the days that followed, the Prometheus was a blur of activity. Supplies were loaded, systems were checked and double-checked. The crew pored over every scrap of data from the alien transmission, familiarizing themselves with Zephyrin language and technology as best they could. Through it all, a sense of purpose and unity took hold. They were no longer just scientists, engineers, and soldiers. They were ambassadors, representatives of all humanity, and they would not let their species down. As the final countdown began, Talia strapped herself into the command chair, her crew at their stations around her. The Prometheus's engines roared to life, the launch pad falling away beneath them. Earth's atmosphere gave way to the star-strewn blackness of space. The journey had begun. Humanity's first interstellar rescue mission was underway. And though none could know what trials awaited them, one thing was certain: the crew of the Prometheus would face them together, with all the ingenuity, courage, and determination that Earth had to offer. Journey to the fleet. The Prometheus sliced through the void, her experimental engines pushing her to velocities once thought impossible. On the bridge, Captain Talia Ramos watched the stars streak past on the viewscreen, a kaleidoscope of light against the darkness of space. "Status report," she called out, her voice cutting through the low hum of the ship's systems. "All systems nominal," responded Lieutenant Arya Patel, the ship's pilot. "We're on course for the Zephyrin fleet's coordinates. Estimated arrival time, 36 hours. Talia nodded, settling back into her command chair. It had been a tense few days since the Prometheus left Earth orbit. The ship was performing beautifully, a testament to the skill and dedication of her crew. But with each passing hour, the reality of their mission seemed to grow more daunting. They were flying into the unknown, to rendezvous with an alien civilization in need. The fate of the Zephyrin fleet, perhaps of an entire species, rested on the shoulders of this human crew. In the ship's laboratories, the science team was hard at work, poring over the data from the alien transmission. Dr. Lena Sorensen, the mission's xenobiologist, was fascinated by what she was learning about Zephyrin physiology and culture. "They're a crystalline-based life form," she explained to Talia during a briefing. "Their bodies are composed of a complex lattice of organic minerals. They're adapted to zero-gravity environments, which explains why the failure of their artificial gravity systems is so catastrophic for them." But it was the Zephyrin language that was proving the most challenging. Despite the mathematical primers included in the transmission, the alien syntax and grammar were unlike anything the linguists had encountered before. In the engineering bay, Dr. Max Okabe, and his team were facing challenges of their own. They were studying the schematics of the Zephyr ships, trying to familiarize themselves with the alien technology they would soon be called upon to repair. "It's incredibly advanced," Max confided to Talia. "Quantum computing, self-repairing nanomaterials. This is the stuff of science fiction. But at its core, it's not so different from what we know. Every machine, no matter how complex, operates on certain fundamental principles. That's what we need to focus on." As the hours ticked by, the crew of the Prometheus settled into a routine. They worked, they rested, they prepared, and always the ship pushed onward, drawing ever closer to their destination. Then, 36 hours after they left Earth, the Prometheus dropped out of warp speed. On the view screen, the Zephyr fleet came into view. Talia felt her breath catch in her throat. The alien ships were vast, dwarfing the Prometheus like mountains beside a molehill. Their crystalline hulls glittered in the starlight, intricate patterns of light and shadow playing across their surfaces. But even from a distance, the signs of distress were clear. Several of the ships were drifting out of formation, their lights flickering erratically. Others showed visible damage, great gouges marring their pristine hulls. "Hail the fleet," Talia ordered, her voice steady despite the awe and apprehension churning inside her. A moment later, a holographic figure appeared on the bridge. A Zephyr, its crystalline form shimmering with inner light. When it spoke, its voice was a melodic chime, the words translated by the ship's computers. "Greetings, humans of the Prometheus. I am Luminous Spark, commander of this fleet. We have waited long for your arrival." Talia stood, facing the hologram. "I am Captain Talia Ramos. On behalf of Earth, we have come to offer our assistance." The Zephyr's form pulsed with color, a gesture of gratitude. "Your help is most welcome, Captain. Our need is great. Please, come aboard our command ship. We have much to discuss." As the communication ended, Talia turned to her crew, seeing her own determination mirrored in their faces. The moment they had trained for, the moment they had traveled so far for, was finally at hand. The Prometheus moved forward, preparing to dock with the alien command ship. The journey was over. The real challenge was about to begin. Understanding Zephyr technology. As the Prometheus docked with the Zephyr command ship, Captain Talia Ramos couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation. She was about to lead her crew into an alien vessel to confront technology beyond their understanding. But there was no turning back now. The airlock hissed open, revealing a shimmering tunnel that seemed to bend the very fabric of space. Talia stepped forward, her magnetic boots clamping onto the strange, semi-transparent material. "Gravity field generator," Dr. Max Okabe breathed from behind her, his eyes wide with wonder. "This is amazing. They've managed to create artificial gravity without spinning the ship." As they made their way deeper into the Zephyr vessel, the marvels only increased. The walls seemed to pulse with life, glowing conduits running like veins through the ship's structure. "It's not just a ship," Dr. Lena Sorensen realized, her hand hovering inches from a shimmering panel. "It's alive, or at least partially biological." In the command center, they were greeted by Luminous Spark and a group of Zephyr engineers. The aliens' crystalline forms glittered in the strange light, their movements fluid and graceful in the low gravity. "Welcome aboard the Radiant Seeker," Luminous Spark said, its voice chiming through the translation system. "We thank you for coming to our aid." Talia stepped forward, inclining her head in a gesture of respect. "We're honored to be here. Can you tell us more about the problems you're facing?" As the Zephyr commander explained, Talia could sense Max's growing excitement. The ships, it seemed, were not just alive, but intelligently so. A vast network of biomanites, microscopic machines that straddled the line between technology and life, permeated every part of the vessel. "It's a bioneural network," Max said, his eyes alight with the thrill of discovery. "The nanites act like neurons, processing information and controlling the ship's systems. It's the most advanced form of biomimicry I've ever seen. But therein lay the problem. The bioneural network, the living heart of the Zephyrin fleet, had been damaged by a massive solar flare. The delicate balance of the nanites had been disrupted, causing cascading failures throughout the ship's systems. Our engineers are highly skilled, Luminous Spark said, its form dimming with the Zephyrin equivalent of the Psi. But our technology has advanced to the point where we no longer understand its fundamentals. We know how to maintain the bioneural network, but not how to repair it when something goes wrong. Talia nodded, understanding dawning. The Zephyrins, in their pursuit of technological perfection, had lost touch with the basic principles that underlay their creations. They needed a fresh perspective, a different way of thinking. They needed human ingenuity. As the human crew set up their equipment in a designated workspace, Talia could see the determination on their faces. They were facing a challenge beyond anything they had prepared for, but they would not back down. Max and his engineering team dove into the alien systems, their hands flying over holographic displays and glowing control panels. They worked side by side with the Zephyrin engineers, bridging the gap between human intuition and alien technology. In the biolabs, Lena and her team were studying samples of the bionanites, marveling at their complexity. They were like nothing any human had ever seen, a perfect fusion of the biological and the mechanical. But as the hours turned into days, the magnitude of the problem became clear. The damage to the bioneural network was extensive, the nanites' delicate programming corrupted beyond repair. Conventional methods weren't working. They needed a new approach, a human solution to an alien problem. In the dim light of the alien ship, Talia gathered her crew, seeing the exhaustion and frustration on their faces. But beneath that, she saw something else, a glimmer of an idea, a spark of inspiration. "We've been thinking about this all wrong," she said, her voice cutting through the weary silence. "We've been trying to fix their technology on their terms. But that's not what they brought us here for." She turned to Max, a glint in her eye. "What if we approached this like a human neural network? What if we could reboot the system, give it a fresh start?" Max's eyes widened, the wheels turning in his head. "It's a crazy idea," he said slowly, "but it might just work." As the human crew and the Zephyrin engineers gathered around, a new plan began to take shape. It was audacious, unprecedented, and it just might save the fleet. Human intuition meets alien engineering. In the heart of the Radiant Seeker, a strange collaboration was underway. Human and Zephyrin, engineer and scientist, worked side by side, united by a common goal: to save the stricken fleet. At the center of it all was Dr. Max O'Cave, his brow furrowed in concentration as he pored over the schematics of the bioneural network. Around him, a makeshift command center had taken shape, human computers and diagnostic equipment interfacing with the alien systems. "We need to think of the bioneural network like a human brain," Max explained to the gathered team. "When a human brain is damaged, we don't try to repair each individual neuron. We help the brain rewire itself, finding new pathways to restore function." Captain Talia Ramos nodded, understanding dawning in her eyes. "So instead of trying to fix each damaged nanite, we need to give the network a framework to heal itself." Max grinned, the thrill of the challenge lighting up his face. "Exactly. We need to create a neural scaffold, a temporary structure that the nanites can use as a guide to rebuild their connections." But creating a neural scaffold for an alien system was no simple task. The bioneural network was vastly more complex than a human brain, its nanites operating on principles that defied conventional understanding. That's where Lena and her biolab team came in. They had been studying the nanites intensively, unraveling the secrets of their programming. "The nanites are designed to self-organize," Lena explained, displaying a complex model on the holographic screen. "They're constantly communicating with each other, sharing information, and adapting to new situations. We need to tap into that communication, give them a new set of instructions." The Zephyr engineers listened intently, their crystalline forms pulsing with shifting patterns of light. They were skeptical at first, the idea of using such rudimentary technology to repair their advanced systems seeming almost absurd. But as the human team laid out their plan, the aliens' doubts began to fade. They saw the ingenuity in the approach, the way it leveraged the inherent adaptability of their own technology. "Your plan is audacious," Luminous Spark admitted, its voice chiming with a mix of admiration and concern. "But we are out of options. The bio-neural network continues to degrade. Many of our ships are now running on emergency power, their life support systems failing. We must act soon, or all will be lost." Talia met the Zephyr commander's gaze, her resolve unwavering. "We understand the risks, but we also know the strength of human determination. We will not fail you." As the plan took shape, the human crew threw themselves into their work with renewed energy. In the engineering bay, Max and his team were constructing the neural scaffold, a vast network of computer nodes designed to mimic the structure of the bio-neural network. It was a monumental task, requiring the processing power of every computer on the Prometheus. The ship's systems strained under the load, the crew working in shifts to keep the equipment running. Meanwhile, Lena and her team were coding the new instructions for the nanites, a delicate task that required a deep understanding of both human neural networks and Zephyr biotechnology. They worked closely with the alien engineers, bridging the gap between their two sciences. Day by day, piece by piece, the plan came together. The neural scaffold grew, a shimmering web of light and data, ready to be integrated into the bio-neural network. The new nanite instructions were loaded, poised to guide the microscopic machines in their work of self-repair. But even as the final preparations were made, a new problem emerged. The bio-neural network, in its degraded state, was rejecting the foreign technology. The human systems simply weren't compatible. It was Kai, the soldier with a knack for unconventional solutions, who proposed the answer. "We need an interface," he said, his eyes alight with inspiration. "Something to bridge the gap between our technology and theirs. And I think I know how to build it." Under Kai's guidance, a team of engineers and scientists began work on a new device, a quantum resonance interface designed to translate between the human and Zephyr systems. It was a long shot, a theory based more on intuition than hard science. But intuition, Talia was beginning to realize, was what the Zephyrs needed most. They had brought humans here not just for their technical skills, but for their ability to think outside the box, to find solutions where logic and calculation failed. As the interface took shape, the anticipation on the Radiant Seeker grew. Human and Zephyr alike knew that they were on the brink of something extraordinary, a merging of minds and machines, a testament to the power of cooperation and innovation. The final piece was ready. The moment of truth had arrived. Implementing the human solution. The Radiant Seeker's engineering bay had become a hive of activity, a blur of human and Zephyr figures working in seamless unison. At the center of it all, the neural scaffold glowed, a shimmering lattice of light and data, ready to be integrated into the bio-neural network. Captain Talia Ramos stood at the edge of the scaffold, her eyes tracing the intricate patterns of the alien technology. Beside her, Dr. Max O'Keefe was making final adjustments to the interface device, his hand steady despite the weight of the moment. "We're ready," Max said, his voice thick with tension and anticipation. "The quantum resonance interface is stable. The nanite instructions are loaded. All we need now is to connect it to the bio-neural network." Talia nodded, her gaze shifting to Luminous Spark. The Zephyr commander hovered nearby, its crystalline form pulsing with anxious energy. "Understand, Captain," Luminous Spark said, its melodic voice edged with concern, "that what we are about to attempt has never been done. We are interfacing a foreign technology with the very heart of our ships. If something goes wrong..." Talia met the alien's gaze, her own resolve unwavering. I understand the risks, but I also have faith in my crew, in your engineers, in the ingenuity and determination that has brought us this far. We will not fail." With a gesture, she signaled to her crew. Across the engineering bay, humans and Zephyrons took their positions, each ready to play their part in this unprecedented endeavor. Initiating neural scaffold integration, Max announced, his fingers flying over the control panel. Interface engaged. Nanite instructions uploading. The neural scaffold pulsed, its glow intensifying as it began to merge with the bioneural network. Data streams flowed between the two systems, the human technology guiding the alien nanites in their work of repair. For a moment, all was still. The ship seemed to hold its breath, the only sound the hum of the machinery and the rapid beating of human hearts. Then, slowly at first, then with growing speed, the bioneural network began to change. The dark, damaged sections of the lattice began to light up, the nanites rebuilding connections, restoring pathways. Like a sunrise chasing away the night, the glow spread through the ship, bringing life and energy back to the stricken systems. On the Radiant Seeker's bridge, the Zephyr crew watched in awe as their displays came alive, system after system coming back online. The ship shuddered, artificial gravity and life support stabilizing, engines thrumming with renewed power. And it wasn't just the Radiant Seeker. Across the fleet, the other ships were experiencing the same transformation, the neural scaffold's influence spreading like a healing wave. In the engineering bay, the human crew erupted into cheers, hugging each other in elation. They had done it. Against all odds, they had found a way to save the Zephyr fleet. But even as they celebrated, Talia knew that their work was not yet done. The neural scaffold was a temporary solution, a patch to hold the bioneural network together while the nanites completed their repairs. Over the next days and weeks, the human and Zephyr crews worked tirelessly to monitor the progress of the repairs, adjusting the scaffold and nanite instructions as needed. It was a delicate balancing act, requiring constant vigilance and adaptation. But with each passing day, the fleet grew stronger. The ship's systems stabilized, their functions restored. And with each success, the bond between human and Zephyr grew stronger. They were no longer just allies, brought together by necessity. They were partners, united by a shared triumph over seemingly impossible odds. They had proven that when faced with a crisis, when pushed to the limits of their knowledge and capabilities, they could find a way. Together. As the repairs neared completion, Talia found herself walking the halls of the Radiant Seeker, marveling at the transformation. The once stricken ship now pulsed with life and energy, a testament to the power of collaboration and innovation. She thought of her crew, of the ingenuity and determination they had shown, of Max and his brilliant engineering, of Lena and her tireless work with the nanites, of Kai and his unconventional solutions. Each of them had played a vital role. Each of them had pushed themselves beyond their limits, and together they had achieved the impossible. The Zephyr fleet was saved. The crisis was over. But for Talia, for her crew, for the Zephyrs, it was more than that. It was a beginning, a new chapter in the story of two civilizations, brought together by a cry for help, united by a common cause. And as Talia looked out at the stars, she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever mysteries the universe held, they would face them the same way, together. Restoration and farewell. The Radiant Seeker's observation deck was a marvel of Zephyr engineering, a vast dome of transparent crystal that offered a panoramic view of the stars. It was here that the crew of the Prometheus gathered, side by side with their Zephyr counterparts, to witness the final stage of the fleet's restoration. Captain Talia Ramos stood at the center of the deck, her eyes fixed on the view screen before her. On the display, a schematic of the bioneural network glowed, its once dark pathways now pulsing with healthy light. Neural scaffold disengagement complete, Dr. Max O'Cabe reported, his voice tinged with a mix of triumph and exhaustion. The bioneural network is stable, operating at full capacity. The fleet is fully operational. Around the deck, cheers erupted, human voices mingling with the musical chimes of the Zephyrins. They had done it. After weeks of tireless work, of setbacks and breakthroughs, they had brought the stricken fleet back from the brink of disaster. Luminous spark floated forward, its crystalline form shimmering with emotion. Captain Ramos, Dr. Okev, all of you, there are no words to express the depth of our gratitude. You have not just saved our fleet. You have saved our people, our civilization. We are forever in your debt. Talia shook her head, a smile playing at her lips. We were just doing our job, luminous spark. When we received your call for help, we knew we had to respond. That's what humans do. We help each other. We solve problems. It's who we are. The Zephyrin commander pulsed with a warm golden light. Then let us learn from your example. Let this be the beginning of a new era of cooperation between our peoples, an era of shared knowledge and mutual support. In the days that followed, as the Prometheus prepared for its journey home, that spirit of cooperation blossomed. Zephyrin and human scientists worked together, sharing their knowledge, exploring the fascinating blend of biology and technology that made the biomural network so powerful. Engineers from both crews collaborated on upgrades and improvements, finding ways to make the Zephyrin ships even more efficient and resilient. And in the process, they forged bonds of friendship and respect that transcended the boundaries of species and civilization. But all things, even the most wondrous, must come to an end. And so, a month after their arrival, the crew of the Prometheus found themselves once again in the Radiant Seeker's observation deck, this time to bid farewell to their Zephyrin friends. There were tears, laughter, promises to stay in touch. Dr. Lena Sorensen exchanged a long, complex series of light pulses with a Zephyrin biologist, a final conversation in a language only they fully understood. Kai Takahashi clasped manipulators with a Zephyrin engineer, a warrior's salute between two kindred spirits. And Talia Ramos found herself face to face with luminous spark, the weight of all they had achieved heavy in the air between them. You have changed us, Captain, the Zephyrin said, its voice soft and melodic. You have shown us the power of diversity, of thinking beyond our rigid ways. We will not forget. Talia smiled, her eyes glistening. And you have changed us, luminous spark. You've reminded us of the wonders that await us out here, of the incredible things we can achieve when we work together. This is just the beginning. With a final round of farewells, the crew of the Prometheus boarded their ship, the airlock sealed behind them, the familiar hum of human technology enveloping them once more. On the bridge, Talia settled into her command chair, her crew taking their stations around her. On the view screen, the Zephyrin fleet hung in space, a glittering constellation of crystal and light. Set a course for Earth, Talia ordered, her voice steady and clear. It's time to go home. As the Prometheus pulled away, the Zephyrin ships began to move as well. In perfect unison, they rearranged themselves, their formations shifting and flowing like a cosmic dance. And there, shining against the starry backdrop, was a final message, a pattern of lights spelling out words that needed no translation. Thank you, friends. Until we meet again. Talia felt a lump in her throat, a swelling of pride and gratitude and hope. They had come so far, achieved so much. And now, as they set their course for home, she knew that the universe would never be the same. For out there, among the stars, a new story had begun. A story of two peoples, two civilizations, united by compassion and curiosity. A story that would echo through the ages, a testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit. The stars beckoned, and the Prometheus answered. And all the while, Earth spun on, awaiting the return of its heroes. The return of those who had dared to cross the void, to touch the unknown, and to find, in the end, the best of themselves.